Hey guys, this is a tutorial on how to set up Mamewah. What I'm going to go ahead and delete my previous one. That's just a test one. So first, to get the program, just open your browser, go to Google. I always use Google, and type in Mamewah. M-A-M-E-W-A-H. Hit enter. And your results should come up with this one on top. This first one is mamewah.mameworld.net. Go ahead and click on that. Click on downloads. And then you're going to scroll down. And it basically explains everything right here on what you have to do. You have to download the system files. And you have to also download Mamewah, the application. Once you download system files, you have to run the setup.bat. It explains it right here, and then you install Mamewah. So once you download that stuff, go ahead and close it. Go to your zip file, which is your Mamewah installation, and just extract it with whatever tool you have to extract. Open up the folder. And then this is what it looks like. You have your layout-designer.exe, mamewah.exe, docs folder, and your config folder. To get started, you have to go to your config folder, and there's some folders in here already. These are, they come pre-installed when you install it. These are basically your emulator folders. You have to have a folder for each emulator you have. So, if you wanted to create a new one that isn't already in there, right click, go to new, go to folder, and then create it. I'll create one for Project 64, which is my Nintendo 64 emulator. And you just create the folder. It's empty right now. So what you have to do is go back to your Mamewah folder and double click on your Mamewah exe. And it says Project 64 right there in the corner. So all you have to do is double click it, and then you can exit it by pressing escape. That's all you have to do at first. And then go back to your config folder and your Project 64 folder that you created. And now there's a couple INIs in here and a game folder. The INIs are how you set up the Mamewah to use your emulators and your ROMs and stuff. So that was just an example on how to do that. But I'm going to give you an example on how to actually set up your INI to use your emulator and your ROMs. I'm going to use the SNES one because I have it already set up with my other one. This is the one that originally comes with Mamewah right here. And you can see how it's set up, and I'll show you a comparison on my current installation of Mamewah. So I'm going to go to my SNES setup and my INI. So as you can see, the differences right here. Emulator title right here is what you want it to be called in your options menu. I have it set to Super Nintendo. I'd rather have it set up to the real system name than the emulator name, just for nostalgia. Your ROM path right here, this is going to be wherever your games are, wherever your ROMs are stored, that's going to be right there. I have mine set up to the C drive, a games folder, ZSNES W142/ROM/ROMs. You could set it up to wherever your games are going to be, set them up to wherever you want. Rom Extension is set to zip because all of my ROMs are zipped to separate files. I'll show you that right now. Go to my computer, my C drive, games folder, and my ZSNES folder. Go to my ROMs folder right here. As you can see right down here, I have them all zipped separate files. So it's going to be set to zip as I have it right here. If yours are another extension, just put the extension right there. with some emulators such as Nintendo 64. If you don't have them zipped, you could have them named different extensions. There's N64, V64, or Z64, but they're going to have to all be named one extension. So if they're different extensions, just name them all to one. It doesn't matter which one you use. And then rename it right here. N64 if you use that, but I recommend you just zip them and use zip for everyone. List generation method right down here. You're going to set to ROM underscore folder. That way it generates your game list according to what is inside the ROM folder. Emulator command line. This is your path to your emulator right here. Just wherever your emulator is, go to it and copy the path from the address bar. And then also, when you paste it, you're going to have to add the actual application name at the end of it, like this one is right here. Don't worry about this stuff. I'll explain this stuff later in like a text file. You're going to come down. Artwork image paths right here. This is so you can show snapshots of the game when you're scrolling down your lists. So if you have snapshots, it'll be, like say I have mine right here in a folder called snaps. They have to be named the same name as the ROM, or else they won't show up. So the only difference between this and the ROM for the name is the extension. So you're going to have your JPEG extension or whatever it may be. So they all have to be the same name. So if they're not, you're going to want to go into either the folder that you have your pictures in and copy that name and paste it to your ROM, or you're going to want to copy your ROM name and paste it to the picture. Either way, doesn't really matter. Go down a little bit farther. You have your movie previews path, and that's basically the same thing as your snaps path, except for this is going to be if you have movie previews instead of a snapshot for your game. Movie artwork number is 1. That's standard when you first start it. Doesn't really matter. History.artwork doesn't really matter what you set it to, the way I have it set up. Go down to music path down here, and this will be the folder that has the music that will play when you're on your list of emulators. You can have it set up so it plays different for specific emulators, set up different folders, or you can have all the emulators use the same one, which you would just set them all up because it uses the same path right there. And then you're going to go ahead and save it right there. So if you save it, it should be all set up.